This is a Hurricaneville Video Report. Good morning, this is Greg Machos for Hurricaneville.com, and this is the Hurricaneville Video Report for Wednesday morning, June 27th, 2012. And we are still tracking Tropical Storm Debby as it moves off the east coast of north central Florida this morning. The storm has brought tremendous rainfall to the northern portion of the Sunshine State. Rainfall amounts have ranged between 10 and 20 inches in places along the I-10 corridor, with a 20-mile stretch of that highway closed off, and another location in northern Florida receiving up to 28 inches of rainfall from this latest tropical storm. This is the fourth named storm of the 2012 season already, and we haven't even ended the month of June, which is usually a quiet month by tropical climatology standards. Well, anyway, let's take a look at the latest information on Debby. As of the 5 o'clock a.m. Eastern Daylight Time advisory from the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida, the storm was located at 29.6 north, 81.0 west, or about 25 miles to the southeast of St. Augustine, Florida. Maximum sustained winds were at 35 miles per hour, and there are gusts up to 45 miles per hour. The present forward motion of the storm is to the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. The minimum central pressure in the storm is 998 millibars, or 29.47 inches. At this time, there are no tropical storm watches or warnings in effect. The storm is moving out into the Atlantic, and I believe we have a few satellite pictures of the storm. Well, this is not what we're looking for. This is the visible satellite, courtesy of NOAA, and it shows you the storm kind of hooking up with this frontal boundary that brought us all the rough weather on Monday. It's kind of hooking up with that, and that should ride it out to sea into the open waters of the Atlantic. We switch over to the infrared, and now we have an even later image. This one is as of 8:15 this morning, and it shows the storm continuing to pull off the east coast of Florida, continue to pull away from it, and head out into the Atlantic. Now, there could be some strengthening. It's moving into the Gulf Stream, so it's very possible that Debby could become a tropical storm again at some point over the next 24 hours, but it should eventually weaken and become a remnant low before dissipating over time. This is the water vapor loop, and it's showing you all this dry air that's kind of helped squeeze out Debby, and this dry air that you're seeing here, that I'm moving my mouse over here over the southeast, that is going to start building into the northeastern United States, including New Jersey, over the next several days, and we could see temperatures back up into the 90s from Thursday into Sunday. As a matter of fact, there is an excessive heat watch out for the Philadelphia metro area, including Trenton, for Friday afternoon to Sunday night. Temperatures are expected to be in the mid to upper 90s, with heat index values soaring over 100. Now, what I want to look at is some rainfall information. These are the rivers and streams in northern Florida, and as you can see, a lot of them aren't experiencing any flooding as of right now, but there are some that are experiencing some flooding. North Fork Black Creek near Middleburg, that is to the southwest of Jacksonville, they are experiencing major flooding. Let me move this up a little bit. St. Mary's River near McElhenney, that is experiencing major flooding. The Suwannee River at White Springs is experiencing major flooding. Live Oak, if you haven't been watching the Weather Channel, Jim Cantori is located there, and he is dealing with some floodwaters there. As a matter of fact, the downtown area of Live Oak is under water at this point. There's also some major flooding occurring in Lake City off of the Interstate I-75, and there's also some minor flooding along the Acelia River in Lamont and the St. Mark's River near Newport. So that's the latest flood report out of the Jacksonville Forecast Office of the National Weather Service. Now, if we look at the Doppler radar estimates, you can see that northern Florida has gotten a ton of rain, but even some areas of southwestern Florida have received some sort of impact from this storm. I would say rainfall amounts range from anywhere from 1/10 of an inch to well over 10 inches of rain. This area here in white that you see here, these areas have received over 10 inches of rain, and these purple and violet colors that you see, these areas have received anywhere from 6 to 10 inches as well. So they've been hit pretty hard by this latest tropical storm. And as a matter of fact, much of Florida had been under a drought, and between this and also the rainfall from Tropical Storm Beryl, a number of these locations such as Jacksonville and southeastern Georgia and other parts of northern Florida received 6 inches of rain from Beryl. So they have had plenty of rain, so they've gone from drought to deluge in the Sunshine State. Now, if we look at the storm reports from Sunday, in addition to all the flooding, there were some areas that were hit by tornadoes from Debby. And tornadoes do happen in hurricanes, especially landfalling hurricanes, but these were really produced from the outer bands of the storm coming ashore. The shear and rotation generated from those outer bands produced 18 tornadoes statewide. You had places in Hardee County, Glades County, Collier County, Palm Beach County, Highlands County. Miami-Dade had a report. So a lot of places had tornadoes. There was about 20 reports of tornadoes altogether in Florida, and also a number of high wind reports from this storm. Now, we look elsewhere in the Atlantic, and we could have a new threat on the horizon. You can see here in the eastern Atlantic where my mouse is moving. We have an area of disturbed weather that is moving into the central Atlantic, and there is right now a 20% chance of that developing into some sort of tropical cyclone within the next 48 hours. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. June is usually not the time of year for storms to form in that part of the world, but so far this month, this June, it has been very unusual. We've already had 4 named storms, so I guess anything is possible. Now, we're also going to take a look at the Africa satellite, and this is courtesy of UK Met, the meteorology agency out of the United Kingdom or the British Isles, and it shows you a lot of thunderstorm activity along the intertropical convergence zone as these disturbances move out toward the Atlantic Ocean. And we'll be watching those for the coming days. And of course, as we move further and further out, we're heading out of June into July. Temperatures in the eastern Atlantic are getting warmer, so little by little we're going to approach the peak of the season, which is usually statistically September 10th, and that's usually where we get the most activity as far as tropical development. And of course, we get our stronger storms, what we call the Cape Verde storms, and that's named for storms that form in the tiny islands that are just to the west of the West African coast, usually Senegal and things like that. Those areas are usually prime for development around August and September. So that's it for now. That's the Hurricane Video Report for Wednesday morning, June 27, 2011. I'm Greg Machos, and you have a good day. This has been a Hurricaneville Video Report.